And Chase Anderson just gave up a run. Cock.
And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Osmo.com Live Before Lock show, where we celebrate our independence and America by doing a live stream for you to talk about baseball. There's going to be like 15 people in the chat, I'm sure. But, we're going to persevere. We're going to try this out, see how it goes. I'm Chris Spags, joined, as always, by my good friend, Josh Engelman. Josh, how are you doing?
I can't complain too much. It's been a nice day so far. So,
yeah,
go
and you are
happy 4th, everybody.
You're wearing very patriotic colors that blend in with the FanDuel background in a weird way, where it looks like you're one with the screen.
I had a bright green shirt on this morning, and I was sitting here before I was getting ready to record, and turned the XSplit on, and the only thing that was here was my head. Like, it pulled my body out completely, and it was just my head and neck.
Living the Max Headroom dream, if you want to do a really dated 80s reference that nobody's going to get. I just want to fucking kill myself. But we are going to talk baseball. It's 4th of July, so today's going to be probably a Friday show in spirit because we're working on the 4th, and apparently we didn't have to. We only found out this morning that we didn't have to do a show. But, we're doing one because we care that much about baseball, about America, about Roderick Pope, whose name I don't recognize, but I'm on board.
Yeah.
We might get random people, too, because I feel like we're the only game in town tonight.
We might be. Look, honestly, if we would have known a week ago that we wouldn't have been the game, or we were the only game in town, we probably still would have not done this, and I'd be floating in my pool right now with everyone else.
Yeah, no, I have a friend who's down at my pool as well. A lot of girls in bikinis down there. But I'm up here with you wearing an American shirt and a red, white, and blue hat because, God damn it, we care.
Weird.
But we have baseball talk.
I'm wearing a Justin Timberlake shirt.
Oh, that's right. I was going to ask Josh for a twirl because I can't see him before we go live. It's only on YouTube. I watch him just like you guys do. So I didn't get to see his little wardrobe, but he's got a little cute 4th of July Justin Timberlake wardrobe. Why? Why that shirt?
It's the greatest shirt I've ever owned.
But is that like your summer party guy shirt? Or
I break it out like once or twice a year now. It used to be like once or twice a semester. It's a good. I've owned this shirt for 10+ years.
The fact you could wear a shirt that's 10+ years, I feel like you're ahead of 50% of the male population out there.
Yeah, look, I treated it really well. I liked it more than myself.
Well, not just that, but that you're not like too fat to wear it. I feel like.
Oh no, yeah, it fits better now. Whatever. Nobody's gonna listen to this. So I bought this shirt at a Goodwill store. Like, it's not like it was made for me. So I'm curious to know like how big the girl was that owned this before me. Like, at the time that I bought this, I was 6'2", 220. So like that's not a tiny girl.
It could have been a guy. I went. So there's an anime festival at.
I saw your Instagram.
at the LA Convention Center. I took my dogs to the dog park just to kind of get their energy out. So because I knew I was going to be out of the house for a little bit today, and there was just a lot of heavyset gentlemen who had feminine builds, and I feel like that could easily be an NSYNC fan in the late '90s who had that shirt.
I'm fairly confident this belonged to a woman previously. It wouldn't make sense otherwise.
T McB asking, do you point the camera at the pool then, Chris? I don't know that we do a spy cam series here for these videos, but maybe one day we'll do a quick little we'll do a softcore porn Cinemax kind of thing. We are going to talk baseball today, though. We have, I think, 7 games in this late slate. We have the early slate still going on right now. Some lineups I have that are not helping out with the stupid athletics just not being supported on America's Day. But they're not a patriotic team. That's probably why. Josh, what are we doing for you this slate on your end?
Good question. Let me paste this what I think is my last lineup in, and then we'll take a look. I'm in no particular rush.
No, that's your right as an American. It's our day.
Right.
Go on your own pace. Be independent.
I'm pretty much with the field in a lot of things except for pitching. I'm still going to be pretty high on Bauer and Cole, and I'll be way under on Sal Romano and who am I missing? Stroman. So I'm higher on like all the other guys, like McCollis, Corbin, Cole, Bauer. I'm just taking all of that extra like really high ownership and spreading it out.
So, okay, here's a question I have, and it's kind of more of a recent one. And, you know, granted, we've been going through a really big hitting swoon where a lot of the big bats have been the ones driving the slates. Is paying up for a pitcher a coward's move? Because I'm starting to feel like it is. Like, I feel like you're taking the security, you're taking that, you know, that at least decent chance, you know, better than 50% chance of 20 points. But, like, do you need to go Bauer and Cole tonight? I mean, Bauer's in a good spot, but versus a team that doesn't strike out a lot. Cole is in a slightly worse spot in a hitter's park with obviously very, very hot Texas heat. Do you need those guys tonight?
I don't think so. At least not in any sort of volume. I just think they have such dramatically higher ceilings than the rest of the field that it feels weird to me to not be on them quite like a little bit. Because I think there's enough cheap stacks out there to like serve both masters tonight.
Okay, because I'm just starting, and it might be a thing where I just noticed a pattern. I'm trying to probably attack the pattern too much, but I'm really tired of the best pitchers not kind of being in the winning lineups. It's always just, you know, random asshole A, random asshole B, the Clay Holmeses of the slate.
And
maybe it's
yesterday.
What was that?
The guy that won the mini max yesterday had a pitcher with a -5.
It's ridiculous. Brent Suter was the winner in one of the rally caps the other day, and he had 6 points. And granted, I had Brent Suter, so I was okay with that. And it's like, oh, good. Brent Suter's 6 points is worth more than some other guy's 20. But I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm done paying up for pitchers, at least for right now. And then on the slate too, it's like Bauer and Cole, neither of them is really moving my socks. And Corbin too. I'm actually very off of Corbin.
Yeah. So like my only reason that and it's more Cole for me than Bauer. I'm right with the field on Bauer. But, like, for Cole, if he's 5%, I just want to be higher than that. Like, in my opinion, he's very clearly one of the two best pitchers on the slate. Like, if we're just talking about raw talent. And I'm willing to pay up for the randomness of bats to just take lower-owned bats for what Cole's upside is, which is arguably higher than anybody else on the slate. So it's really weird to me to see that he's 5% when there's 7 games. If this was 4 games, that would make less sense, but that's neither here nor there. What I mean is there's enough games here that like he should be owned. He's Garrett Cole. Yeah.
No, like I'm with it. You know, it's one of those things, and maybe it's a summer thing. This is my first full MLB DFS season, so I don't know if this is how it always goes or what, but I mean, the bats are the ones really driving the lineups lately. I mean, it's summer, so that is a thing that a popular sort of meme that people drop in the chat sometimes where pay up for bats, it's summertime. And, you know, I don't know. I just feel like you're paying for the Coles and the Bauers. And a lot of the times those guys haven't been that great in the last maybe 3 weeks and started heating up across the country.
Yeah, sure. Look, I get the minimal-ish ownership. 5% is just outlandish to me.
That's fair. Now, Cole is good enough stuff where I get it, and also the Rangers strike out enough where I get that. It's just that, you know, and granted, I'm not one of the people who have Sal Romano. I'm one of the people who have Tyler Anderson. but I mean, that's also stupid. It's just that he misses bats enough, and if we're all everybody's hot. Everything is everywhere around the country is burning right now, and the balls are flying all over the place. I'm okay with Tyler Anderson and Coors relative to like what I would have to pay for Cole.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I had a bunch of Tyler Anderson.
Okay, good.
At least I did earlier. Let me see if I still do. Yeah, I mean, I have 8%. He's pretty chalky, actually. Double digits.
Yeah, I mean, I think price-wise makes a lot of things work, and I'm sure a lot of people landed on him. But, like, I'd rather have him than Romano. I'd rather have him than actually, I'd rather have Stroman, I think. But it's close. I think he's a pretty good play, and I think a lot of people will be afraid of the Coors tax, but there's only a couple of bats I'm really afraid of on the San Francisco side tonight with Tyler. We're first name basis. No fuck Tyler for me. I'm fully on board with Tyler. Burnt one of these days. Let's see. How do you guys feel about Cleveland? Limited sample size, but .606 WOBA against lefties for Trevor Oaks with 58.8% hard contact. Like you citing stats, WOBA not one we look at a ton at Awesemo.com. It's one that Alex is a huge fan of. It feels like it's a bit overvalued by players. However, how do you feel about Cleveland, Josh? I know Osmo, actually, if you're a premium member, he has his lineup card thing where he breaks down the entire slate and how he's approaching it. And I think he mentioned the Indians as being a pretty good pivot given the ownership. Or maybe not even pivot, but just a play.
I'm way over the field on the Indians.
Okay. No concern about Trevor Oaks. I mean, a very limited sample size pitcher. But he has missed bats at a pretty decent clip.
No, I'm good.
I'll be honest. I mean, I have Indians, but I do have one or two Trevor Oaks lineups. I like him more. I don't know. I like him comparably to Clay Holmes. I have pretty similar amounts of both those guys.
I don't really have either all that much. But no, Trevor Oaks isn't going to make me nervous about having a bunch of Indians, that's for sure.
He's no great shakes, and he also his minor league number is also not very good.
5.5 run implied total for the Indians. No one's worried about Oaks.
Hey, I get it. I get it. Just saying, not a great sample size, and I think there have been a couple times recently where I've noticed these guys with like not a great sample size end up being better. Like Jeffrey Rodriguez, I don't know how his total performance is right now, but he's been doing pretty well tonight, and he had some other signifiers. He's been missing bats, maybe a little unlucky. I don't know that Oaks is the same guy, but just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, that one's not for me. I love the Indians. They're too good.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, Clay Holmes was mentioned by Alex as a potential pivot tonight. His AAA numbers were much better than his major league numbers. I think one of those guys could end up. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys were in the winning lineup tonight.
I would agree with that. It wouldn't shock me.
All right, as long as we can agree on that, that's fine. If Romano is going to be 12 to 15% on FanDuel, the Shy Sox bats are interesting. How do you feel about Romano tonight? How do you feel about the White Sox relative to Romano?
Like, I like Romano. I just don't like him 43%, you know? I got like 30 right now, so that's...
What is up with the shitty Reds pitchers being so highly owned?
I have no idea, man. It's weird as shit.
It actually has followed through for the most part. I mean, we're projecting them, yes, but Romano is currently projected on our site. If you're a premium member, go check it out. For 43% on DraftKings, and the numbers that we projected are maybe a little higher because they're, I think, targeting higher stakes tournaments. But he's still, like, Disclafani the other day was pretty close, and I'm sure Romano will be as well tonight. I don't see it, especially at Cincinnati. Like, I don't know. I don't like that play at all.
It's the price, man. It allows you to pay up for the bats. That's... I mean, it's the opposite of what you said earlier. People are paying up for the bats, and to pay up for the bats, you end up on Sal Romano.
And to your credit, I guess that does lend more credence to going with the Coles and Bowers of the world because, boy, that is, I don't know. People are paying for Sal Romano. That's a spot to attack, I would say.
Like, if you're not a big fan of Sal Romano, then you're probably going to have to be a fan of more at the top of the pitching and cheaper bats. Like, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I don't know. I was crazy about the White Sox last night. Granted, I know not DeSclafani guy. I've made my stance pretty clear. And obviously, El Garcia had an amazing night. I wish I had more of that stack. I just feel like the White Sox in Cincinnati are being undervalued, and the Reds pitchers in Cincinnati are for some reason being very overvalued.
I wanted to say this. I guess we didn't talk yesterday. Your Dodgers call 2 days ago paid off in spades.
Oh yeah, they've been really great lately. Jake and I both were all over them. We had like 3 guys who tweeted us this morning who won either a FanDuel like single entry or whatever with Dodger stacks. They've been great. I'm also all over them tonight. How do you feel about the Dodgers tonight?
I don't think I have any of them.
Even though Clay Holmes, I mean, a guy I feel like you would target him.
Yeah, I don't have any Dodgers. Side note, I have 2 separate emails of people that have won GPPs, so we could talk about that tomorrow on a real day.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have been winning lately, and that's why that guy yesterday who said some gibberish, some poorly typed gibberish about how he hadn't won in a month or whatever of watching the streams. Like, if you watch the streams, these aren't pick streams, and I really want to impress that idea a lot on people.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about it, we're thinking through everything and we're debating points, and I think it's Josh is using data and different comparison tools. Like it's more about ways to think about the slate and how to attack and approach things. And if you're not winning, like it sucks, but we're trying to help as much as we can every day.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more in the minority.
I mean, he also literally couldn't type basic words.
It's true. That's true. I wouldn't trust him to win in a game of solitaire.
No, probably. Minesweeper, my God, he would be smashing his computer.
Every time I click on it, I get the bomb.
Do you think Holmes at 8 points would be enough? Who's Holmes? I don't even. Is there a Holmes on the slate?
Holmes?
Homes?
Yeah, I mean, there's an L in there. Just because we don't say it doesn't mean you. I mean, I say it, but like, just because you don't say it doesn't mean it's not there.
Wait, which Holmes?
Clay?
Oh, Clay Holmes. Oh, okay. God damn it. Sorry. It's been a long 4th of July celebrating America. Yeah, I mean, Holmes putting up 6 to 8 points could be enough, sure, but I feel like that's a pretty narrow margin you're targeting there.
Look, someone won the mini-max yesterday with -5 at pitching. Everything fucking works if your bats are right.
Yeah, so
you're not striving for that.
Do you believe more in going with bats first instead of pitching, given the summer months and how, I guess, the heat seems like it's driving a lot of batter action?
It depends on the slate size. Like on a 15-game slate, I think it's still easier to identify pitching than hitting. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if it's hot, hitting is so inherently random that I'm more likely to bet on bats on a short or bet on pitching. Sorry. And again, price tells you a lot of it. Like if Garrett Cole were 7,000, he'd be the most popular pitcher on the slate. So the pricing of where guys are is really the most important part of it, because someone can go from unplayable to playable just by changing their price. It has nothing to do with their scenario. And then slate size for me. So the smaller the slate, the more I'll focus on bats.
Okay. That makes sense to me, I think, from an approach standpoint. I just, in general, I do feel like the bats and kind of figuring out your bats and where you want to attack, and then kind of just taking whatever pitchers are available that have some degree of variance that you're in favor of, or an outcome rather that you believe is possible, I think has been more beneficial to me. But I think that makes sense. Metal Burning, by the way, the guy's YouTube name was Bob McIntyre, so I don't think it was an English issue. I would assume, unless he was Bob McIntyre.
No, it was like the wrong words, not necessarily just like grammatically poor.
Yes. Yeah. There's really no way to articulate the sentence, but there was 4 or 5 really egregious of not knowing words things.
Yeah, it didn't read as a lack of English knowledge from a different country. It read as a lack of English knowledge from America.
That is a perfect way to put it. I'm glad you encapsulated that. Oh, Nick Williams just hit a home run. Good for you, Nick.
Nick Williams.
Little late.
I don't know how much I had. Were there people on? Because that's really the only thing that matters.
There was, I think Santana was on. Yeah. I like that Phillies stack a decent amount, but I also like Jeffrey also, and it was one of those where Phillies strike out a lot. Jeffrey misses bats. See what happens. Apparently the Phillies just are getting going now. I'm probably on the bullpen.
Brad Miller and Nate Orf both hitting solo homers. I had someone not in the lineups after lock, and I manually put in Brad Miller and Nate Orf into like some lineups of like all the guys that I clicked on. Those are 2 of the names that I clicked on. So I hope that was beneficial.
Oh yeah, my winnings just went down with whatever with that one.
Yeah, me too. Whatever happened didn't help me.
Oh man, I was in like 100th, and now I'm down in 500. That's sad.
I'm having a shit morning. I had a shit Monday. I had a shit Tuesday. I want to go back to Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I actually, the one thing that kind of pissed me off about not having a morning home run pick was it would 100% have been Villanueva for me, and that stack ended up being terrible. Villanueva hit one on his first at bat, and I was like, why no morning home runs?
Your boy Sabathia had a good morning.
He was okay. He was actually pretty decent given the how mediocre he is.
17.5 points. That's great for him.
That's actually not great for him, given his recent performances. But I actually had Camargo more than I had Sabathia. I was very in on Camargo today.
I actually liked Sabathia a decent amount when I looked at him this morning, which made me laugh.
Wait, hold on. I just bet my son $10 you would save Blaine Mundell. Come on. All right, Blaine Mundell. I hope you and your son are both happy. And in fact, you're watching with your son, Blaine Mundell is adorable. So I hope he's super impressed.
Why did you say the name? That was stupid. Why wouldn't we want the kid to get $10? We should have suckered him out of it and said we would never do it. Give that child $10.
I want that kid to think his dad's a wizard who can make people online do things. I feel like that's a much more.
That's fair. I'll go that direction. I wanted to give the kid $10 to go buy like porno mags or candy or something.
I want that kid going broke with bets with his dad that he could easily win. That's what I'm hoping for.
There we go.
Let's do home run picks because, we're talking a little bit about them. There's been a fair amount of success lately in the home run demographic. I'll tell you what I'm doing today, and I'm going to say fuck you, Josh, if you critique me, because it's America's Day, and it's all about independence. I'm going with Nolan Arenado going against Suarez.
There you go. Thanks for swearing while that child is listening.
Sorry, child. Sorry, Blaine Mundell and child.
Yeah. Okay, you're going Arenado. Yeah, number 2 in my model.
Okay, good. I mean, as he should be in Coors versus Suarez, who's pretty bad versus righties.
Give me Alex Bregman if we're taking people at the top.
All right. All right, so it's an all-star matchup. I like it.
Yeah, we're not going to be getting one from Jakey today.
No, Jake's got a girlfriend he's got to take care of. She's probably got Instagram photos she needs of herself taken, and Jake's just managing that scene, I'm sure.
I guess.
I don't know. That's how I imagine Jake's life. Is a lot of him taking photos of people. He just seems like the type.
I just assume my life and Jake's life are like polar opposites.
I don't know. I don't think Jake is like a wild card.
Right, but I'm married, so I don't really have much of a life.
I think Jake is Minnesota married, where if you have a girlfriend, it's the same thing.
Is that just Minnesota in general?
Probably, yeah. It's probably pretty close.
Less range of fun shit. Probably off holding hands in the Mall of America or something.
That's what every kid's first date in Minnesota is. You just go to the Mall of America and take the Ferris wheel and try to get a hand job. All of those things.
Eat a corn dog.
While getting the hand job on the Ferris.
I don't know if they have corn dogs in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Do you think they don't have fried food? You sure about that?
I don't know anything about Minnesota. I can't imagine I'll ever be there unless like Jake flies me out.
For Jake's wedding, we'll all be in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get an invite to that one. Well, who knows? Depends how long we work here, I guess.
Knock on wood. Earl Fountain, by the way, I want to point out, Curtis Granderson, also a pretty fine Don call. Going against Corey Oswald, I like it. I like it, Earl Fountain.
Curtis Granderson, where have I heard that name before?
Oh, was he a quick hit today?
Could he have been a quick hit? I'm not sure.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, quick hit.
Let's actually talk about the Blue Jays real fast because they're always kind of a forgotten team and pretty great total on their side, pretty shitty pitcher on the other end. How much Blue Jay do you have tonight?
More than the field.
I also have a good amount of Blue Jays.
They're my number
like
one stack right now.
They're pretty affordable. You can kind of take them in a couple different directions. You can either skip Kendrys and Russell Martin, go to Grichuk. You can go Granderson through Smoke and then throw in Russell Martin to fill your catcher hole.
You know what you can do with those cheaper Blue Jays? Play Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer.
You can. I know I have one of those. I do know that I have one of those guys. Yeah, I like it. Corey Oswalt to me, especially the lefties versus Corey Oswalt, sort of limited sample size, but really getting hit hard by lefties, and just looking worse versus them. But also versus righties, he's pretty generous as well. Corey Oswalt might be the gift that keeps on giving tonight.
I have like 8% of him, so I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair amount. I actually have like one Corey Oswalt lineup just in case he suddenly is competent, but I don't foresee that happening tonight.
This beer sucks.
No, I'm drinking Bud Light. It's an American beer that's owned by a German master brewer, but still, American as can get.
I'm drinking Heineken.
Speaking of, how about, since I'm drinking a Bud Light, how about St. Louis? Obviously, Patrick Corbin, a pretty good pitcher, a guy who Osmo recommended possibly taking a look at tonight as a pivot off of some of the chalkier options. Going against St. Louis, though, who have a lot of scary bats, a lot of guys who get on base, a lot of guys who have power, especially versus a lefty pitcher. How do you feel about the Cards and Corbin vis-a-vis them?
So I have 20% Corbin, which is basically right in line with the field. I also have 13% McCollus, which is quite a bit higher than the field. When it comes to the hitting portion of that, I barely have any Cardinals, and I don't have any Diamondbacks. So I'm hitching my wagon to the pitching side of that game.
I'm intrigued by the bats. I don't know that I went there a ton, but I do think there are some guys who can do damage. For me, Jerko grades out as one of the better second base options, at least in terms of like statistical success. Like his on base numbers, his isolated power look great. The runs that he's creating with WRC plus look great, and not striking out a ton. That it was enough to scare me off of Corbin. I mean, there are two guys who get on base over 400 OBP versus lefties, and Pham and Martinez. Ozuna not far behind with 374. Jerko getting on 387. Bader getting on 383. If I were going to do a contrarian stack that's being super duper contrarian, not a fantastic price or anything, but I think the Cardinals would be it.
Yeah, so I like the Cardinals quite a bit as a hedge stack. Corbin's at 18% ownership, which is the fourth highest guy on DK. So if you don't want to go to Corbin, then I definitely like if you're not a big fan of Corbin tonight, I definitely like having some hedge Cardinal stacks because they're good. You know, they might not have the best pricing in the world, and the run total isn't desirable. So you're hoping for the high end. But this is a spot where I think that works out nicely if you want to be on the opposite side of Corbin.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of hard contact on their side. Like, I do think if you don't believe in Corbin, and I don't, I only have like one Cardinals lineup, and I think I have more Jerko than I do a full stack. But just looking at it again, they're one of those that I'm looking at a second time as we talk about it, and I wish I had more because I think it's pretty contrarian and just some gaudy numbers versus lefty pitching.
Gaudy.
Gaudy.
I didn't even look to see how many people are here. Is it even 3 digits? Oh, 161. Yes. That's I'm happy about doing this.
If you're a random person stopping in today, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when we go live. We're usually slightly soberer and slightly less patriotic, but in general, equally competent throughout.
I'm pretty much never patriotic.
I'm always patriotic.
Answer this for me. I posed this question to the wife yesterday, since we don't really care what's going on today. Why are we so happy about our independence?
Like you would rather be owned by another country?
Well, owned is an interesting concept. But, we left basically, other us. It's not like we were held down by, Iraq. It was Britain, man. I bet our lives would be fucking super similar right now.
I think they probably would be. The taxation was pretty bad, though, when we actually did form our own country and that stuff. What it basically would be to me is the equivalent of if you could make the same or have the same opportunity owning your own business versus being an employee. It's always better to own your own business because then you get the profits. You decide how they go.
Sure.
And I think that's sort of what it is. Is that basically America was the initial entrepreneur. The guy right now would be posing in front of a Lambo talking about how it cashed out on Bitcoin at the right moment. That would be America. It's just a guy who kind of figured out the hustle and now owned his profits instead of just giving it back to some guy who's sipping tea and masturbating to himself, to a painted portrait of himself. It's England to me. This guy's in power wigs.
I was just thinking about it, it was just England. I'd go if I could move to England right now, just press the button and be there. All my stuff's there. I don't have to coordinate it or pay for it. I would do that.
I don't know that's actually a plus. I know that's a plus EV move if we're going to tie it back to the DFS and betting communities. I don't know. England's also in a pretty dire strait. They have their own issues.
Oh, I don't mean because it just seems like a pretty cool place to live. And it would, the assimilation seems like it would be pretty easy. I like soccer, so that'd be fun. Although, who knows with those crazy hooligans? They'd probably stab me with a beer bottle or something.
I mean, you're giving up a little bit in terms of pastiness, just general cloudiness.
I live in Seattle. I don't give a fuck about clouds.
I think as a country, we're very down in America right now, and that's the time to be. It would be great if we had a World Cup, because I'd be all in on that. I'd be fucking. Probably not face paint. I don't like face paint, but I would buy a jersey. I'd be going every game. Yeah, no, I don't know.
I had mine on this morning. I did the early show in my Jose Altidore jersey.
Tickly fingers, Josh. Not today. I agree. You might trigger people with your anti-patriotism.
I mean, I like America, but I like everybody. People are people. We just happen to be born here. It's just shit luck.
Mr. Stealth67 must be new to the live stream, where you can say back to DFS, and you think it's going to get results for you.
Dude, it's the 4th of July. I couldn't give a single shit about DFS today. I'm playing, but it's just because I have a gambling problem.
We have 25 minutes, Mr. Stealth67, so shut up.
Sorry, I'm not giving either or third base questions today.
Yeah, we're gonna get to questions, guys. I'm sorry. If you want a question that's just robots answering live stream either ors, probably not the one for you. We hang out.
Jeeves or something. It's not gonna be today.
No, it's definitely not. It's fucking Independence Day.
Yeah.
Of all days, don't try to control us. Quit crying, Mr. Stealth. You know what? You're getting a timeout.
TMCB rather. That's funny.
Hey, Mr. Stealth, it's not your Independence Day.
Yeah. Speaking of Independence Day, I might go watch that Will Smith movie.
It's a fine movie. You want to see aliens getting punched in the face and Will Smith making quips.
Welcome to Earth.
Now let's talk DFS, but for everybody besides Mr. Stealth.
Sorry, Stealthy. Not so stealth now, are you? We all see you.
I'm one of the 0.6% of people who knew to play a Sensatella tonight, and I might play Oaks at 4,000. You know what, Sean V? I actually think that was a better play, and I didn't play a Sensatella, and I saw him, and it was like, it's a limited sample size. I don't love it. But so that's why also part of my logic, where the Sensatellas of the world are getting overlooked, and I'm going to advocate for them. And tonight that's probably Trevor Oaks and Clay Holmes, who I'm also not playing a ton of. Prioritize Story or Arenado for Zach27314.
Arenado.
Yeah, it's Arenado. He's a home run pick, so obviously that's the one to go with. But they both look great. Brighties versus Suarez. Very, 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 very big split for Suarez. A lot of scary hard contact for Suarez, which in Coors will go sailing away. And Suarez also not great at getting swinging strikes, 7.3%, which would be one of the worst on the slate. I'm not crazy about Suarez. I am crazy about a lot of those righty bats in Coors. Happy 4th of July to Ghost Marine, if you actually are a Marine and not a ghost, especially to you. Happy 4th of July. Thank you for your Ghost Marine service.
If you are a Marine, I am deep in Marine country right now, so what up, Marines?
All right, great. Who's your favorite bat of the night on DK based on price and upside? So all the good things that you would look for in a batter, I guess.
Cool. Let me just go ahead and sort this list of 70 people by, nope, more than that, 14 times 120 people.
Unlike Josh, I will give it to you because I also have a comparison tool now that I can just pull up real fast, and maybe not real fast, moderately fast. For a contrarian standpoint, it would be Austin Meadows. For an overall standpoint, it would be Nolan Arenado. I don't care about his price. I just like him at third base. I think he's better than most of the other options.
Okay, so we're trying to say, like, price agnostic, who's the best play of the day?
Yeah, I mean, give one price agnostic and one including price. I think Austin Meadows is the best deal in terms of his numbers, whereas Arenado, I think, is just the best play.
Okay. I will say that my favorite play, including price... Okay, my favorite play, excluding price, is George Springer. My favorite play, including price... would be trying to find somebody I'm like way higher on in the field. Ooh, okay. No, nobody's gonna buy that. Adam Duvall.
Oh,
if you need a cheap guy, I think Adam Duvall's got a really high ceiling.
interesting. Out of all the guys on the Cincinnati side that you could have gone with, I'm surprised that Duvall.
I'm trying to give some off the beaten path type shit.
I feel like I would go Winker if we were going with those with that tier of player. But actually, I looking at Houston now. So you're not a Mike Minor guy, I presume, then tonight and in general.
No.
So you don't buy that he's getting better, and his whip has gotten down substantially. I think I don't have his actual game by game numbers here, but I feel like he's missing bats more. He almost had a perfect game a couple outings ago. No fear, and not fear, I guess, but no second thoughts based on Mike Minor's recent performances.
Nope.
Okay. I didn't go.
Minor, he's like 30 years old now. We're just assuming that he's like good, or maybe just maybe he had a couple good days in a row.
Maybe he's figuring out how to wrangle things. I don't know. I feel like he's been a guy who Jake and I maybe on those streams have tried to target more, and it hasn't paid off. And I've gone through a lot of swings with Mike Minor where I targeted him, then I was on his side. Now I'm just sort of like, all right, Mike Minor, I don't know what to think about you, buddy. And I do think I don't love him tonight as a play, but I do think he might be able to do enough to stymie the Astros. His whip just isn't that good. He's not giving up a lot of walks and hits.
More of a nay guy.
He's more of a nay guy, yes.
All right, I've got all my lineups in, so we can just churn through questions now.
Ghost Marine is a vet, so good to know. Good, thank you, Ghost Marine, then for your service. Thank everybody else, by the way, who is also an active or former, or I don't know, whatever you guys call yourselves, retired Marine and otherwise. We appreciate you. Minor / Stroman can't be the answer tonight, but maybe it is. Stroman wasn't the guy I landed. Stroman and Anderson was the guy I landed on more than not.
I would be very surprised if Stroman and Minor were the answer to any question other than, yo, who got lit up today?
How about Stroman and Tyler Anderson?
Look, I'm not huge on Stroman tonight.
Oh, do you have any Mets stacks?
Not really.
Okay.
Although,
so you're not that.
I should. I have a little bit of Mets. It's mostly just Joey Bats, which, when I look at it individually, I'm not happy about, but it's not like it's a thing I'm going to correct. Oh, Ghost Marine, Camp Lejeune. I'm in Wilmington, dude. You've probably been here on days where you wanted to get fucked up and didn't want to be in Camp Lejeune because it's only titty bars and gun stores and pawn shops.
I don't know what else you would need.
Well, that's more Jacksonville than Camp Lejeune. Camp Lejeune's legit. But you'll understand what I'm saying for sure.
So Stroman, I could see why you wouldn't like Stroman. He does. I think in terms of this slate, though, he is missing bats enough where I felt okay about him. But yeah, I think you're right. There is some danger on that Mets side.
So let me be more specific here. I don't like Stroman at 31%.
Okay.
I have 18% Stroman. Like, I have him, but I can't get to a third of my lines of Stroman. I don't buy that at all. He's a decent value. I don't see his ceiling to be particularly high. 30% is not what I'm looking for. And I'm playing little bits of all the cheaper guys. And, again, I'm trying to be above the field on Cole or Bauer. If Cole or Bauer pop, I'm going to be sitting really good. And I would expect one of them to go really well.
Hold on. Tickly Fing is pointing out that Cabrera is 2 for 2 against Stroman. Tickly Fingers that's not even close to a large enough sample size. Yesterday we shot, or 2 days ago maybe, we shot down a guy who had like a 50 batting. It's still not enough. You gotta get into the hundreds, preferably, to have actually a significant sample, right, Josh?
Tickly Fingers sounds like Mr. Poopy Butthole.
It could be a parasite in the Rick and Morty universe. I agree.
Oh,
It's also fair.
Yeah, no, you're probably going to need a little bit more than 2 at-bats.
Yeah, I agree. Which would you go with, Indians with Toronto or Rockies with D-backs? I would go Indians with Toronto.
Oh, man, it's way at the top of my chat. I try to always see it so I can make sure I'm understanding it. Indians in Toronto or Rockies D-backs? Indians in Toronto for sure. I have both of them owned highly. I barely have any Diamondbacks. So.
Yeah, Diamondbacks. I love the Diamondbacks a lot of the time. Tonight, not for me. They don't grade out that well. I don't think they look like a team I want to attack with. Avisail Garcia, anybody who fades him should just quit MLB DFS. I like Avisail. I mentioned him yesterday as being a good dude. My fuck up yesterday was not playing Daniel Palka, ironically, after he was one of my most famous home run picks. I like Avisail Garcia, I think, as a full stack, though, not as a one-off. Romano's either going to get not a lot going or he's going to just get shelled, and I would rather have Avisail as part of that grouping. How do you feel about the White Sox in general? Anybody who's a one-off Avisail? I don't know.
I have a little bit of them. I'm pretty neutral to the field. Let me hop over to them and just see if because I don't know any of their actual ownerships. I like Jose Abreu. I think Palka's in a decent spot. Garcia's in a decent spot. I don't have any real aversion to those top 5 guys. They're just... I mean, if you want to go to the White Sox stack because you're not fans of 43% Sal Romano, fucking by all means. I just don't think I need a lot of it. They still only have a 4.41 implied total, so...
That's been the case all series for them, and they've actually been a pretty good stack to have in this Cincinnati series because all the pitchers that Cincinnati keeps putting against them just aren't that good. So, I mean, even though the White Sox also aren't that good and strike out a pretty high amount, probably one of the higher numbers on the slate, they do have guys who can hit. Moncada was amazing yesterday, Moncada. Garcia also was really good yesterday. So, I would be more inclined to go with a partial stack with the elite hitters, but not just a one-off, obviously. I think maybe a 5-3 with them. Exactly, yes. Matthew Prodwell, no one has 100 at-bats versus the same exact pitcher. That's the point, is that BVP is not a helpful stat. It's not one to look at. If a hitter is that good versus a handed pitcher, it'll show on their numbers. It's not just like he owns this dude's ass, and that's just how it is. Goldie is 1 for 2 against Mikolas. Must play. Exactly, Scott Thomas. You nailed it. That is go with Goldie. 100% Goldie tonight. I think Palka hit 2 last night. You are correct. Palka did hit 2. He would have been a great part of a mini stack, and unfortunately, I didn't get there because I'm an idiot. Thanks for rubbing it in, Sean B. How much exposure do you have to Trevor Oaks?
I like 3 lineups.
Okay, so a little taste, a heroin dealer on the street taste.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, I guess.
Mike Minor's last 4 starts: 46, 34, 37, 25. Explain to me where he's a bad pitching option with those numbers. Anthony Hunt, I agree mostly, but Josh, you want to rebut Anthony's point?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, are we listing off his measurements? 36, 24, 36. Only if he's 5'3".
He's real thick, high-key thick.
Yeah. Let me just pull it up. Look, he's not that good, and it's in Texas. I don't care what his last I don't even know that he was good in his last 4 starts. That's how little I pay attention to that. It's not for me. It's I'm trying to look at a bigger picture than recency bias. That'll get you if you pay too much attention to it. Just because he was good in these last 4. What happened in that game before that? 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 strikeouts, a homer. Gave up 2 dongs before that. Gave up 3 earlier. He's just Mike Minor. He's the same guy he was before. He's got a 452 xFIP for the season. That's Mike Minor. Could have a good game. Could get blown up. I'll lean more towards all of the righties of a very good lineup just getting to him.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the righties there are a pretty strong play, especially, if you are going to attack him, he's been weaker versus lefties. So, I don't know. I don't have his last 4 games in front of me. I would assume there's probably a fair amount of lefties in those lineups who he went against. And, I see it. Look, I see it both sides of it. I don't have a crazy amount of Astros tonight. I also don't have a crazy amount of Mike Minor. I don't think it's going to be as successful of a total for the Astros as it looks like, but I also don't think Minor's going to have a great game. So that's my opinion on it.
He's pitched against the Astros 3 times this year. He also has a game against Boston. These are... Did he play Cleveland at all? No. So those are all matchups where there's going to be a lot of righty talent. First game against Houston, 676 xFIP. Second game against Houston, 613. The game against Boston, 546 xFIP. The third start against Houston, 556 xFIP. He's pitched like shit against them in all three starts. He pitched like shit against Boston, another team that squares up lefties really well. Now, granted, Boston's lefty numbers aren't great, but they profile similarly to Houston. I don't see it. Like, I have some Mike Minor, but just because he had 3 straight decent starts does not. He had a 501 or a 502 xFIP 2 starts ago. He only got 3 Ks. He's not missing any bats. That's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. He just needs balls to like be in play. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, the Texas game in the summer is also not a thing I'm trying to get after.
Sure.
Yeah, so look, I agree. I mean, like if as the case of not playing Minor, I think that Minor is probably a little overdue for getting rocked. I mean, just his contact numbers as well, which is a thing that Jake extols a little more than Josh, and I kind of am a little more on Jake's side. He gives up a fair amount of hard contact right in the line with any of the worst pitchers on the slate. Not good at limiting soft contact either. And he's also not as good of a pitcher. Like, if you look at him on a pure metrics basis, for me, he actually grades out similarly to Trevor Bauer. But Trevor Bauer is going against Kansas City, and also, like, he's a better pitcher. He misses bats more. He has a lower whip in general. Going versus Houston, though, like, if it were Bauer versus Houston, I wouldn't be crazy about it either. I don't know. I'm just not crazy about Minor, and I think you can talk yourself into it, but it's not a great play. Not a terrible.
Minor could be decent today. Nothing is absolute in baseball, but I mean, there's a reason that the Astros have a 5.3 run implied total.
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't think the Astros are the best value on the plate or on the slate today, rather, but I do think that they're one who will do some damage and possibly a lot of damage depending on how Mike does.
Yeah, like, look, he gets a lot of weird contact. A lot of balls end up in play because he doesn't miss that many bats. Sometimes those are great days where you could be hyper efficient and the ball's going right to people. Sometimes you put 2 of those balls in the hole and then Alex Bregman puts one in the cheap seats.
You do it like a dogs in a bathtub kind of situation there? 2 balls.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know. That's a Friday stream anyway, basically. When you insert your testicles into either a woman or another person's orifice, that would be dogs in the bathtub because it's hard to keep in there as a dog in a bathtub.
Gotcha. That was new to me.
Hey, yeah, we did it in America.
Nothing more American than cramming your balls in.
Best catcher option for a GPP tonight.
Which site?
Every site.
DraftKings it is. For a GPP. Ionetta, probably. Maybe Russell Martin. Actually, Russell Martin.
I would be inclined to go Diaz or Grandal. So one of the guys in Dodger Stadium tonight.
I mean, Posey's fine too. Like, I'm just trying to avoid a little bit of ownership when people ask that question. Ionetta has sort of the lowest price and best combination of ownership. Like, Buster Posey has my highest projection by far, but he's also 12% owned. So if you want to pay $4,900 for Posey and get a little bit of ownership with it, that's going to happen. That's fair. Yeah, no, for me, I think Diaz would be a little more contrarian, but I agree. If Ionetta is going to be low owned and in a righty and Coors matchup versus Suarez, I think that makes sense. I'm second in the 4-seamer 20 entry, and D. Gordon strikes out with bases loaded. Welcome to DFS, Juno. That's every fucking day. Story. I mean, not even being rude. That's life, man. Gotta get used to it. The fact that you're in second at all, be happy with that. Be proud. Smells a lot like the day that someone, I can't even remember who it was now, hit that home run to send it to extras and cost me like $1,500. It's a life in the driver's seat of your own destiny. Yeah. So, hey, as long as you're winning money, that's all you can ask for, or not losing it, depending on the night. I'm hoping to win some money in this main slate because I've been getting bent over. I feel like Andy Dufresne right now.
good at taxes, is what you mean in accounting. No, just no sell me on that. That's fine. Fuck you.
No,
about
sorry.
That.
I thought I updated my lines, but did a new Rangers line come out recently? Because I have Adrian Beltre in, and he is not in.
No, he was rolled out a little earlier.
I thought I updated that, though.
Right.
So sorry, I gotta scramble a little bit.
I don't have any Rangers tonight, so I'm okay. People asking about Jeff Mathis. Would you take Jeff Mathis at 2,500? I'm not crazy about the Arizona stack. I'm extra not crazy about Jeff Mathis, who has no power, barely gets on base, strikes out a lot. He's a platonic ideal of a guy I don't want to play. So that's how I feel about Jeff Mathis while Josh scrambles to fix his Beltre issues. Anyone on Clay Holmes tonight? A little bit of Clay Holmes, yeah. And if you're a premium member of Osmo.com, you would see Osmo's argument for Clay Holmes and some of his AAA numbers. So, yeah, there are people on Clay Holmes. The ownership probably won't be that high. But he is.
I have a little bit of him. I'm cool with it.
What is Clay projected at? Clay's projected right now on DK for 5% ownership, so he won't be very highly owned. I would still be more inclined to have more Dodgers than Clay Holmes, but yeah, he's playable. He is playable. Don't get me started on the Cuevas Valleca golden pick. Okay. I won't get you started, Kevin, because I don't even know what you're talking about. You're just talking about a thing that you're talking about. So, are you on Tyler Anderson? Are you playing FanDuel tonight at all, Josh?
Yes.
Are you on Tyler Anderson on FanDuel?
No, not really. 3%.
Yeah, I like Tyler Anderson on DK as an SP2, but FanDuel is a different ballgame. So there we go. What do you guys have? Rich Hill coming in as Ask Aaron Borchardt. Hey, Aaron Borchardt, why don't you be a premium member? Dick. But no, we have him being projected to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate tonight. So that's Rich Hill.
Oh, God, no, that makes sense. I uploaded 150 lines this morning. These are all just blank lines that still have them in. I couldn't find him in like any of my shit, and I was like, what is happening? DraftKings management of lineups is dog shit.
I agree. That's also part of why I don't like doing the 150 lineups. Too much risk there. Cody Bellinger dong. I like the Dodgers tonight. I think Cody Bellinger would be a big part of liking the Dodgers, but he sucked a dong yesterday in terms of his effort.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, nothing at all wrong with that. In fact, good for you if you are a person who enjoys doing that. That said, Clay Holmes is limited sample size, better versus lefties than righties. 0.6 whip versus a 1.71 whip versus righties. That'll even out a little bit, but I do want to attack Clay Holmes more with, I think, a righty tonight based on that. I don't know. I still don't mind the entire Dodgers stack, but just pointing it out for something to talk about while Josh fixes the slide.
I'm good now.
Okay. Good.
Nothing was actually a problem. I was just blind. Cedric Payne, impressive to see me scramble. You must have missed most of the NBA season where I did this almost every day. Just
sometimes enter gibberish.
Bad.
Rich Hill throws like my grandma, and she died in 2015. Rich Hill's got a lot of stigma on him, and I don't know if I agree with it.
I'll throw one into Nana.
I don't think Rich Hill is a terrible pitcher, and I get his numbers aren't as great as they have been. I still think on this slate he's okay, I would say.
I hear people yelling outside, and all I want them to do is not yell anymore.
They hear you doing a live stream, like, that's Josh doing the live stream. Oh my God, he's talking sports.
No, they're just drunk because they started drinking 7 hours ago.
Yo, that Justin Timberlake starts so fresh.
That's probably true. Everyone here is white, though.
Listen, in
not
my mind,
because we're weird like that. It's just a quirk of today.
I was listening to Simmons' podcast while I was at the gym of the Jaws thing, and they were like, "Yeah, there's not a black person or a single woman, like a non-married woman in that entire film." It's like, oh yeah, so that's why you give.
I've seen Jaws.
I haven't since I was little, but apparently it ages well. I don't know that I care.
I'm good. Doesn't seem like the type of movie that I need to watch now. I love those rewatchables podcasts.
They're a good, like, falling asleep or on a cross-country drive or flight listen. I think they're one of the better ones that I have subscribed.
When I'm, like, invested in that particular movie, like, what's one they did recently where I was just like, I cannot wait for this?
Devil Wears Prada?
Nope. Ocean's 11, The Social Network, Inception. Varsity Blues was the big one for me. Because I've seen that movie like 1,000 times.
I haven't heard that one yet. Lindor or Ramirez? No site given. I would presume FanDuel, but
I assume we're talking about Jose Ramirez as well.
Yes.
Whoever you want. It might be a FanDuel question since they're both 5,000, a utility type joint. I've got Jose Ramirez projected 0.3 of a point higher, so play 2 lineups and use them both.
Yeah, I mean, they're both switch hitters, too, so there's really not a differentiation point. I'd probably go Ramirez as well, based on the stats.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez is a righty.
Better stack, Dodgers or Rockies?
That's not a question. That's real, right?
Yeah.
The Dodgers. Or, I mean, the Rockies, rather. See, I got myself so confused. Yeah, the Rockies. It's not even close.
I would agree, the Rockies. Oh, y'all dudes hilarious. Got to watch this shit every day no matter what. Thanks, Brian K. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody tuned in today. It's a holiday special. It's a Wednesday still. We're technically working, I guess. So yeah. We appreciate all you showing up and chatting and being
grinding
a part.
Through the holidays.
Do y'all have iPad or Android? I assume you mean iOS or Android. I have an iPad, but I'm all iOS. I'm not an Android guy.
I have all Apple products as well. Well, phone and iPad. PCs for me. Fuck a Mac computer.
Yeah, I agree. MacBook's not that great, but mine is gold, so it'll weigh those things. Power or gold? What do you choose? Best play under 3,000 on FanDuel.
There we go. Those are the kind of questions I'm liking. Under 3,000. So I'm gonna say 2,900 or higher.
1 minute left. Clock.
Holy balls.
No, not already locked.
I mean, probably Curtis Granderson, but he's also going to be 30% owned. So if you're looking for someone that's a little less chalky, maybe take a look at like Yonder Alonso or Solarte, Daniel Palka, all guys in that range.
All right, there we go. I would go Granderson based on the things that Josh just listed, but
he's 30% owned on FanDuel. So if you're trying to get away from that ownership, I get it.
Look, I don't want to miss out on him. He's in a great spot. I actually like Granderson a lot tonight.
And that's why he was in a quick hits. Check that out on our Twitter feed generally and our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, there you go. Check out that. Also, if you're not, if you want an extra bit of content to help you get ahead of your competitors, sign up for the daily game plan. I keep saying Gaily game plan. I need to stop doing it. I don't know why. But the daily game plan is our email newsletter. It goes out every day at about 1 p.m. Eastern, full of like everything you need to know, whether top scoring teams, lowest scoring pitchers, or like lowest runs against pitchers rather. So go sign up, become an Osmo free or premium member, and you'll get that in your box tomorrow whenever I wake up, pretty much. So go sign up for that now and join. And it's America's Day, so we don't need to stay a minute longer than we already have to.
No, we don't.
But however, thank you guys.
Joey Chestnut ate 74 hot dogs.
I didn't watch it live. I just saw the photos, and all the photos always look gross. But that's impressive. He keeps
not
getting
really
better.
Something you need to watch live.
I enjoy watching it live. I enjoy the announcing of it, the guys like running up and trying to be like pro wrestlers or like charismatic in any way.
No, I do not want to watch a man eat 74 hot dogs and buns in 15 minutes. Fuck that. That's disgusting.
The way he eats it though is so amazing. It's also wet and it's just like
it's garbage. So gross. It's not even food anymore. It's just mush bun. It's so disgusting. The best part of a hot dog is having it grilled and putting a little bit of mustard on it. And it's a really enjoyable treat. I wouldn't want to have 74 of them, plus all of the buns.
I would argue the best part is eating multiples of them and trying not to vomit. But it's each their own.
You shouldn't be allowed to use water. You should have to eat that shit dry, and it's whoever can cram down the most. It's not even an eating contest anymore if you pre-soak the buns in a cup before you start. Come on.
The whole world of competitive eating is built around finding advantages. I mean, it's similar to DFS, to be honest, besides the fact you're eating food and vomiting.
I mean, that's life for you, I guess. And then actual baseball news, Gleyber Torres, DL, hip strain.
Saw that. Yeah, he got pulled early today. All right, well, hey, sorry, Gleyber Torres. You can celebrate America now with a cast on your hip or whatever for 10 days.
Lineup. God damn, I hate when that shit happens. Lineup's locked, and I look back at my entries for the first time, and I was like, "Yo, something good happened." It's just all the other lineups hitting and all of my shit coming together. Oh. All right,
there we
let's
go.
get out of here. Best of luck, everybody.
Thank you guys. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.